He cooked dinner for his family the night before he disappeared. He hugged his mother. He kissed her on the cheek. He told her he loved her. And then he walked out the door. That was July 3, 2026. By July 6th, he was dead. And the very same officials who were supposed to find out what happened to him told the world there was no foul play before a single investigation had been completed, before a single autopsy result came back, before a single forensic expert had touched his body. They decided the answer before they asked the question. And that, right there, is where this story stops being a tragedy and starts being something far more disturbing. My name is not important. What I found is, and I'm about to take you deeper into the Nolan Wells case than any outlet has gone. Deeper than the press conferences. Deeper than the headlines. Deeper than the statements released by officials who had already made up their minds. Because there is a detail buried inside the independent autopsy report, a detail about what was missing from Nolan Wells's body when the independent pathologist arrived to examine him, that has not been properly explained. And once you hear it, you will understand exactly why this family refused to accept the answer they were given. Stay with me. Every second of this video matters. And if you are new here, welcome to Darkness of Beneath Crimes. This channel exists for exactly this moment. For the cases that get 30 days of coverage and then disappear. For the families left holding grief that never gets resolved. Hit subscribe right now. Because we are not going anywhere until this story has an answer. Nolan Xavier Wells was 18 years old. He grew up in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. He was a football player, a son, a brother. His father Elmore had been working beside him, building toward what everyone who knew Nolan believed was going to be the best season of his life. He was 6 days away from his 19th birthday. 6 days. On the morning of July 4, 2026, Nolan boarded a boat with a group of friends and headed out toward Horn Island, a remote barrier island sitting 10 miles off the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Federal property. National Park Service land. A place where hundreds of boats anchor every 4th of July. Coolers. Music. People everywhere. The boat docked at the western tip of the island at 11:14 in the morning. By mid-afternoon, the group was preparing to leave. But Nolan was not at the boat. According to those friends, Nolan had met a young woman on the island and chose to stay behind to talk to her. He told them he would find his own way back to the mainland. They left without him. That was the last confirmed sighting of Nolan Wells alive. Now stop. Ask yourself something. A group of friends leaves an 18-year-old boy alone on a remote barrier island, 10 miles from shore, on the 4th of July, and nobody stayed with him. Nobody called from the boat to check. Nobody turned around. Does that feel right to you? Keep that question exactly where it is. Because it is going to matter. That night, when Nolan did not return, his family reported him missing. Jackson County Sheriff's Department was notified. The United States Coast Guard was mobilized. The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources launched search operations. The National Park Service was involved. On July 5th, drone flights were sent over the western end of Horn Island, the last known location, searching for any sign of Nolan. The excessive afternoon heat caused the drone batteries to swell. The batteries failed. The drones came back. They did not find him. And on the morning of July 6th, at approximately 8:45 a.m., a United States park ranger found a body on the north shore of Horn Island near its western tip. Dental records confirmed it was Nolan Wells. He was found in nearly the same area where his friends had last seen him alive. Nearly the same spot. That boy did not move far. And nobody has explained why. Here is where the timeline becomes critical. Because what happened in the hours after Nolan's body was found is the reason this case exploded into a national conversation. Within hours of that discovery, hours, not days, not weeks, Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter appeared before cameras and told reporters there was no foul play identified. No foul play. The investigation had not been completed. The autopsy had not been performed. The forensic evidence had not been fully examined. And already, the conclusion had been announced. How do you investigate what you have already decided? How do you promise a family the truth while simultaneously handing them an answer? How does a man stand in front of cameras and declare no foul play before a single pathologist has rendered an opinion? Ask yourself that question. Let it sit in your chest. Because Christine and Elmore Wansley, Nolan's parents, have been sitting with that question every single day since July 6th. The Mississippi State Medical Examiner performed the official state autopsy. The results were sealed, locked behind a grand jury proceeding, unavailable to the family, unavailable to the public. So the family did what only parents who refuse to be silenced do. They commissioned their own independent autopsy. Attorney Benjamin Crump, the man who represented the families of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Trayvon Martin, stepped forward to represent Christine and Elmore Wansley. He brought in Dr. Roger Mitchell, a board-certified forensic pathologist and the president of the National Medical Association, the oldest and largest organization of black physicians in the United States of America. Dr. Mitchell examined Nolan Wells on July 10, and what he found, or more precisely, what he could not find, is the detail that changes this entire case. Are you listening? Because this is the moment. The cause of death, undetermined. The manner of death, undetermined. One of the most qualified forensic pathologists in this country looked at every piece of evidence available to him and said, "I cannot tell you how this boy died." But it does not stop there. It gets worse. The autopsy report documented red discoloration on tissue at the back of Nolan's head. The source of that discoloration, unknown. Dr. Mitchell could not rule out non-accidental factors contributing to Nolan's death. He could not rule them in. And the reason he could not give a definitive answer, the reason the truth remained locked behind undetermined, is because when Dr. Mitchell arrived to examine Nolan's body, a critical part of that body was not there. The throat tissue. Gone. Not misplaced. Not forgotten. Retained by the state medical examiner before the independent pathologist ever had access to the body. The family hired a world-class forensic expert. They paid for an independent examination specifically because they did not trust the official process. And the pathologist arrived to find that one of the most critical areas of the body for determining cause of death had already been removed. They told him it was standard practice. Standard practice. You tell that to a mother who is trying to find out how her 18-year-old son died. You tell that to a father who stood in front of cameras and said, "All we want is the truth." They buried that boy without knowing how he died. They buried him without knowing. And officials had already told the world there was no foul play. Pause this video right now if you need to, because I need you to feel the full weight of what I just told you before we go any further. By July 22nd, when the independent autopsy results were announced at the NAACP National Convention in Chicago, approximately 60 witnesses had been interviewed by investigators. 60 witnesses. And still, not a single public explanation for what happened to Nolan Wells on that island. Not one. And then came the question that no one in authority had answered. A question so simple that its continued silence became its own answer. Horn Island, where Nolan's body was found, is federal property. It is managed by the National Park Service. Federal land. Now, in the weeks surrounding this case, there were 7 arrests made over incidents involving a reflecting pool, also National Park Service property. 7 arrests. For a reflecting pool. 0 subpoenas issued regarding Horn Island. 0 formal federal investigations opened. A teenager found dead on federal land. And the federal apparatus that polices that exact same land, the National Park Service, had taken no formal investigative action. How is that possible? Seriously, how is that possible? And that is the question, that specific question, that Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. asked in front of attorneys, civil rights leaders, and the national press. Word for word. That exact comparison. Nobody had a satisfying answer. You are right in the middle of this story, and this is exactly the point where most channels would wrap up and send you home with a summary. Not this channel. Darkness of beneath crimes stays in the room. We stay on the case. We stay with the family. And we are going to keep covering this story until there is an answer that holds up under scrutiny. If you are not subscribed, do it right now. Tap like on this video. Because every like tells the algorithm this story deserves to reach more people. And Nolan's family deserves more people asking the same questions we are asking right now. Do it now. Then come right back. Now I need to tell you what is happening to the people asking questions. Because this is the part of this story that reveals the most about the forces at work here. While the Wells family was simply asking, "What happened to our son?" a parent connected to individuals involved in this case threatened to file a lawsuit. Not against investigators. Not against officials who announced conclusions before completing investigations. Against the attorneys and advocates fighting for the Wells family. A lawsuit for asking questions. And it did not stop there. The Wells family itself was targeted online. Christine Wansley, a mother who had just lost her child, had her employment threatened. Content was sent to their home. Pressure was applied to a grieving woman who had asked for nothing except the truth about her son. Let that build in your mind. A mother who lost her 18-year-old boy reaches out for help understanding what happened, and the response from people connected to those involved was not answers. It was intimidation. It was threats. It was silence dressed up in legal language. And here is what attorney Ben Crump said directly in response. And I am going to be precise because these words matter. He stated clearly that there is a legal and moral difference between knowingly spreading false information and asking legitimate questions, examining evidence, identifying inconsistencies, and demanding transparency from institutions that owe the public exactly that. The First Amendment protects that. It protects it for journalists, that it protects it for content creators. It protects it for every single American citizen who looks at a timeline and says, something here does not add up. And if the response to legitimate questions is a cease and desist letter, then you have to ask yourself, what exactly are they trying to stop you from finding? Now let us talk about what happened when Elmore Wells, Nolan's father, went looking for his son himself. On the day Nolan was reported missing, before the body was found, Elmore went to the home of one of the boys who had been on that island with Nolan. He was looking for his son. He was a father. Desperate. Searching. And when he arrived, the boy used the past tense when speaking about Nolan. Past tense. One day before Nolan's body was officially discovered. One day before anyone had confirmed he was dead. And Elmore, in the chaos of a father searching for a missing child, was not focused on verb tense. He was focused on finding his son. But looking back on it now, that moment carries a weight that is impossible to dismiss. Because you do not use the past tense about someone you believe is still alive. Unless you know something you have not said. The legal process around this case is moving forward. Slowly, carefully, but forward. Attorney Eric Hertz is heading the independent investigation for the Wells family. He and his team met with the Jackson County District Attorney's Office on July 15th. In that meeting, specific agreements were made about how the investigation would proceed and what evidence would be jointly examined. One of the most critical pieces of evidence in this case is a phone connected to the events of July 4th. The agreement reached was straightforward: a joint forensic download and examination of that phone, conducted one time, with representatives from the family's legal team, the district attorney's office, and the FBI all present simultaneously. One examination. One time. All parties together. No movement of evidence between independent sessions. That examination had not yet happened as of the latest press conference. The family is waiting. The FBI had been given 7 days to respond to the formal letter sent by the Congressional Black Caucus demanding a full federal investigation. Congresswoman Lucy McBath, the second vice chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, a woman who lost her own son Jordan Davis in November 2012 when he was shot and killed simply for being black and playing music in his car, stood beside the Wells family and said, "Enough." She said every stone must be unturned. She said this family deserves answers. She said Nolan's life matters. And she said the federal government has resources that belong to all American taxpayers, black and white. And those resources should be working to find out what happened to an 18-year-old boy on federal land. The state autopsy results remain sealed. Pending toxicology. Pending grand jury review. Dr. Roger Mitchell is ready to complete his independent examination, but he is waiting for access to the throat tissue that was retained by the state medical examiner. He is waiting. The family is waiting. And every day that passes, the question gets heavier, not lighter. I want you to hear directly what Nolan's mother said. Because no legal argument, no forensic detail, no political pressure captures what this family is actually living through. Christine Wansley stood before cameras with barely controlled grief sitting just beneath every single word. She said, "Many parents out there, you still have your children. You can still hug them. You can still call them. You can still celebrate their life with them. We do not have that anymore." She said, "This new normal is something I would never wish on anyone. Not even my worst enemy." She said, "All we want to know is what happened. That is all. Just tell us what happened to our son." And Elmore, Nolan's father, spoke about what it means to work alongside your child for years. To watch him grow into an athlete. To get him to the edge of adulthood and think, "We almost made it. We almost got him there." He said August 19th, every August 19th for the rest of his life, will bring a very big piece that is no longer there. He was talking about his son's birthday. The birthday Nolan never reached. 19 years old. 6 days away. Gone. And they still do not know how. Now I want you to think about something. 2 other 18-year-old black teenagers, Tyler Smith and David Urban, were also found dead in highly questionable circumstances in the same period. 3 18-year-old boys. 3 families. 3 sets of unanswered questions. 3 communities left holding grief that no official statement has resolved. How many 18-year-olds have to be found dead under undetermined circumstances before the system applies the same resources it would apply if these were different children in a different zip code? How many mothers have to stand at podiums, shaking, before someone in authority says, "This one matters just as much"? How many fathers have to watch their son's birthday pass in silence before the investigation delivers something real? How many times do we accept, "No foul play suspected," before we start demanding, "Prove it"? Here is where this case stands right now. The grand jury will eventually receive the sealed state autopsy, the toxicology results, all investigation reports, all witness interviews, and all digital evidence. The joint phone examination is waiting to be scheduled. The independent pathologist is waiting for access to retained tissue. The FBI has been formally requested to open a federal investigation. The Congressional Black Caucus is applying oversight pressure from Washington. The family is cooperating with everything asked of them. And there is one more thing. There is a detail about what happened on Horn Island on the afternoon of July 4th that investigators have not released to the public. One detail. The family's legal team is aware of it. The district attorney is aware of it. but it has not been stated publicly. Not yet. And when it surfaces, and it will surface, it will reframe every conversation around this case. We will be here the moment it breaks. We will go deeper than anyone else. We will not soften it. We will not sanitize it. We will tell you exactly what it means for Nolan Wells, for his family, and for every question that has been left unanswered since July 6th. Nolan Wells, 18 years old, Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Found on a remote federal island 10 miles from shore. Cause of death, undetermined. Manner of death, undetermined. Friends who left him alive. A ranger who found him dead. Officials who announced no foul play before the investigation was complete. A pathologist who arrived to find critical tissue missing from the body. A phone that has not yet been jointly examined. A family that has never, not once, changed what they are asking for. Just the truth. Just tell us what happened to our son. That is not a radical demand. That is not politics. That is not clickbait. That is a mother and a father standing in the wreckage of the life they had, asking the only question that has ever mattered. And it has not been answered. Not yet, but we are not leaving until it is. This is darkness of beneath crimes. If this video found you, it found you for a reason. Subscribe to this channel right now. Tap the like button. Every single like and subscription tells the YouTube algorithm this story deserves to reach more people. It tells the platform, push this. Amplify this. Make sure more families of more missing children see that someone is paying attention. Nolan deserves 500,000 people asking his question. His parents deserve 500,000 voices standing behind them. You are one of them. Stay subscribed. Because this case is not over. And neither are we.